Hey reefers, welcome back to the channel. Here's a picture of my Garf bonsai I took the other day. Mostly just to track its progression, its health, its coloration, and I couldn't help but get kind of distracted by the backdrop or the background. It kind of was taking on the same appearance as the coral. So then I asked myself at this point, should I clean or scrape the back panel of my tank? Would that be a good thing or would that be a bad thing to do? Typically, I've always just left it as it is and it grows whatever. But at this point, I'm starting to wonder if I should clean it. So the first thing I did with this thought is I went to all of you. I prepared a poll and asked each of you, or those that did respond, what do you do? Tell me about your back panels. Do you scrape it clean or do you leave it be? And the majority of you just leave it be. And as a result of that, I went with the minority and tried to clean it. So today we're going to get into what I observed that happened after I cleaned it, both the pros and the cons. And I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Maybe you clean it, maybe you don't. Why or why not? Or maybe this video will help change your perspective and mind a little bit. Let's get into it. So folks, welcome back to the channel. As usual, and I hate saying this, please like the video if you find it useful. And if you're not a subscriber, consider it. I'm trying to put out some great content. But today we're going to talk about some pros and cons I observed after cleaning the back panel of my tank. And the disclaimer is, these are my observations, right? So there's a lot of opinion mixed into this with experience. So take the video for what it's worth. Interpret what I see, what I experience yourself. And maybe you'll find it useful or perhaps just a little bit entertaining. So the first and almost immediate pro I observed after cleaning the back panel is simply I've got a little cleaner background for my pictures, right? So I think the corals pop a little bit more. They don't get lost so much in a picture. So I think that was kind of the first real immediate benefit to scraping the back panel of my tank. Now here's the same coral as in the previous picture, but a top-down shot. And it's actually a blue sniper acropora from Adam at Battle Corals. It's grown, guys. I mean, I'm getting some good growth, so that's always exciting. But as you can see, an immediate con to scraping the back panel of my tank is I had an accidental fragging already. And when you have a young tank with very small 1-inch frags and you're trying to get to that mini colony stage, it kind of hurts, right, to see this happen. So I was being as careful as I could and tried to navigate the coral and the back panel, but I just nicked it just enough to already have fragged it. So another potential con, especially as your corals grow in. So the next pro, I would say, some may say it's a con, I actually saw a decrease in two-part consumption, right? All that coralline algae was now gone. Which consumes alkalinity, calcium, etc. And so I was dosing about 65 mils per day. And after I cleaned the back panel, I dropped it down to 54 per day. And that's kept things stable. So I think it's a pro, right? I think I could save a little bit of two-part, the less coralline algae I have to maintain. Now, I think somewhat related to that previous pro was another con I just observed. And that was my pH suddenly dropped. Likely there's not as much algae on the back wall, not as much photosynthesis going on, so your pH may suffer a little bit. And we all know, we're trying to boost pH, right, to get our increase in growth that we hope to achieve. So immediately, and you can see here, I was hitting about 8.25, 8.27 daily in my peak, and that dropped quite a bit. Just after scraping the back panel. Now for another pro, and this is probably the biggest benefit I saw and have really enjoyed and appreciated, but my cleanup crew is now more efficient. They're no longer just chilling or hanging out or eating on the back panel. They actually have to go work and go other places. So I'm now finding them on my pumps, right, on my power heads, and those are important to clean for optimal flow. And then I'm also seeing them more on the rock work. I want to keep the algae away from the rock, away from the corals. And I'm so happy that now that I've cleaned the back panel, they're having to search a little bit more for food and are going elsewhere and keeping things tidy. So that's been a huge pro and benefit that I really have liked and will probably keep me doing this consistently. Now, a quick con that I actually didn't observe, but many have said when they scrape the back panel of their tank, they can suddenly get a nutrient spike. So that could be a con, or some may view that as a pro. You know, you have more nutrients available for your corals. Now, I'm not going to hide this whatsoever. A clear con is it adds more to my maintenance schedule. And I think I'm going to have to do this weekly. I've asked a few other reefers about their experience, and they tend to do it weekly. Maybe you can get away with it doing monthly, but it did add about 5 to 10 minutes to my maintenance routine. And clearly, as you can see here, I'm not perfect, and I don't think you can get perfect. There's still coral line I've left. You know, I got it good enough, but there's going to be spots I can't reach. And as corals grow in larger, there's going to be a lot more spots I can't reach. So clearly, it's a con. It's more maintenance. So my reefing friends, that's the pros and cons of scraping the back panel of your tank. And there could be more. We'll see what time will tell. So I appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out this video. If you're liking following this tank, a couple quick updates. You'll notice I've added crushed coral to the sand bed. I just got tired of taming back flow and a result of not having sand blow around. So I cranked up the flow, threw some crushed coral in there, and that's staying put. And then I also added a couple MP10s on the sides. I wouldn't recommend it. The glass is actually too thick, but I didn't want cords coming out of my lid. Thanks again all for your support. We will see you all in the next one. Happy reefing!